Hello, welcome back. Today we're doing the review on the iPhone 13. And I did mention in one of my update videos, it is pink. It is my wife's phone. That's not my color. But here you have it. Anyway, the iPhone 13. So what you get with this in the box is really just the power cord here. You do not get the power block. The power block is something that you have to buy additionally. It's about $20. And that's kind of the way things are going in the cell phone world today. Even with some of the Android phones, I've noticed that they don't have all that stuff that they used to get a few years ago, cut cost or whatever, I guess if somebody really wants to buy it, they're gonna buy the phone whether it comes with the cord or the power block or whatever. But it is what it is. So one of the things with the iPhone 13 that I have noticed, and I'm not really using this phone, it's like I said, it's my wife's phone. It is kind of a heavy phone. It does seem durable though. That's a good thing. And it does have a glass back that kind of adds to maybe a little bit of the weight. It does have a good screen on the front. It is actually IP68 water resistant to 1.5 meters for a half an hour in water. And that IP68 water resistance comes with dust and dirt, the classification for the dust and dirt protection. So overall it should be a pretty durable phone to begin with. The one thing is that the battery is bigger over the 12, and that's kind of the way things go with cell phones. It's always getting a little bit bigger, a little bit better type thing. So that's a good thing. It does seem to have a good battery life in the real world use. That's one of the things that my wife said, after using it for a couple of days. She's like, oh my gosh, I think I haven't actually plugged it in for a couple of days. And sometimes you do get that after you go through a couple charge cycles. You feel like, oh, this is a good battery, and it does start out that way on a lot of cell phones. Let's be honest, you're going to have decent battery for the most part, unless you buy a low-end phone. Maybe you're not going to have a good battery to begin with, but for most mid-range, high-end phones, it's going to be decent for some time. And I think we kind of get used to our phones slowly losing a little bit of battery life, and when we get a new one, we're always like, oh my gosh, it's got a great battery. But anyway, it is a bigger battery over the iPhone 12. One of the other takeaways from the difference with the iPhone 12 is the notch on the front display for the front camera and the speaker that's in there. That's kind of been a mainstay for a little bit now, and it is smaller on the iPhone 13. So we also, the other main thing that's a little different is the cameras are diagonal in the back, and that is for the sensor that's in there for the cameras. That's what they, I guess, had to do to get that to fit in there and work with the bigger sensor. As you can tell, I'm not a phone engineer. I'm just going off with what I'm learning. That's how I understand it, that the cameras are diagonal to fit that bigger sensor that's in there. So it does have the chip inside is an A15 Apple Bionic chip, and the phone runs smooth. It runs great. You can do games on here. They work really well. The video processing is great. It runs good. I understand that the Pro is a little bit better, but that's what you would expect. You're going up to another phone. It's still the iPhone 13, but it is the Pro. You're going up, and you kind of got to get what works for you. How much do you want to spend? They're expensive enough the way it is. Let's be honest. So how much do you really want to spend, and what do you need to do? With the cameras, they do shoot in 12 megapixels, and that's not bad by any means. 12 megapixels is a great resolution for almost anything you're going to want to be doing with a cell phone to begin with. So that's good. They do have a cinematic mode on the video part of the camera, and what the cinematic mode does is it kind of puts the main focus on the main subject in that frame as it's shooting video. And it's adaptive, so kind of if you're sitting there and you turn your head and you're talking to somebody else, and as long as they're in that frame, you know, even if they're a little bit further back than you or a little bit off to the side, it will realize that you're turning your focus over to that person, and through whatever magic that they put into the phone, it will put the focus on that person, especially, you know, if they're engaging the camera at that point and talking, you know, especially like conversation type thing in that video. So that's a pretty cool technology to have. That does, in cinematic, it does shoot in 1080p. Instead of the 4K, you can go up to 4K with the video modes. 1080p, there again, that is not a bad resolution to have. Most of your laptops that people have, or even new laptops, I just bought a new laptop for this channel. Its resolution is 1080p. So the 4K is not going to get you, you know, much further for what you're doing unless you're seeing it on a TV that can do the resolution of 4K. It's a big screen. You know, how much better is it really? I suppose it is better, you know, but how much better do we always need, I guess? 1080p is decent resolution. So I don't know why they don't have 4K in the cinematic mode, but you know, it is what it is, and that's fine. You know, that works. It's a good feature to have on the phone. So, you know, overall, the call quality, if I didn't mention that, that's good. The speakers are good. It's just a good phone, and that's the thing that we're kind of getting away from with the technology in the world today, is if this doesn't work as a phone, then the rest of it is really not worth much to have with you either. That's the thing, is it has to work as a phone. That's my opinion. It has to work as a phone. I know we do so much stuff. A lot of people go through the day without taking a lot of calls anymore. They're texting, they're Instagramming, they're whatever they're doing. They're sending all kinds of different type of message applications or whatever, communicating that way. But at the end of the day, if the phone features do not work well, then it's kind of, why do we have it? So all those other things that I've talked about, that's secondary, and the phone quality is great. It receives good, it transmits good. It doesn't have an issue with, you know, signal loss over another phone that's on the same network in the same location. There, you know, you do have some compromise with some phones out there that same carrier, same exact spot, say, you know, these are, you know, one could have better call quality, and that happens where the signal is way less on one than the other. Not to, you know, rip on my Pixel 4a here, and as you can see, you know, in size comparison to a 4a, it's about the same size. It's a bit thicker, that's for sure, but there you have it. A little bit of the review on the I'm sorry, I started talking about the Pixel, on the iPhone 13. So far, so good, and there you have it. Thanks for watching.